Hello guys, today we'll be talking about part 2 of Night of the Living Dummy 3. This one aired July 20th, 1997, same time. It has an 8.2 over on IMDb out of 10 with 100-ish user votes. And if you want to hear me talk about the actors and the director, who they are and whatever, I suggest watching part 1. Okay, so part 2. In terms of adapting from the book, it is a pretty good adaptation. I feel like they cut stuff out, like in terms of like extra characters and other events that happen between the major events, but I didn't mind because it kept the story quick. The only huge change is the climax, and the book. The book, it's a bit more... Both climaxes work. I think both of them are good in their own way. I think the book's climax was a bit more extreme. No, actually, both of these versions are extreme. Slappy is defeated. Whatever. In both books, pretty over-the-toply and in very different ways. I'll say what it is in the book, because it's not what happens in the show. In the book, all the dummies come to life and they tear them apart. It's pretty epic. They come to life and they betray him, because even the other dummies thought he was an asshole. But, it's different in the show. Not a lot different, but different enough to kind of to be different from this. Different enough for it's not like the book. But the effect, everything's the same. I will have to say, I love the way the dummies move in part 1 and part 2. Especially Slappy. The way they move, it just, it chills. It looks very lifelike. And I don't remember if they did it like that in part 2. I think in Night of the Dummy 2, I felt like in that one it was just more... I felt like it was more typical dummy... I felt like the effects were more standard. I felt like they really stepped up their game for this. It felt very good. And there's a lot of... Part 2, I have to say, is very intense. Part 2 is pretty much a whole climax, really. And the scenery with all the dummies is very creepy. And Slappy, every time he moves or stands up or says something, it is very memorable. And it stays with you. And it's just an awesome episode, and part 2 is very, very good in delivering on the build-up of part 1, and it does and it's very memorable in that. And the way, the ending, the way Slappy is killed is just so over the top and so extreme that I'm sure if you haven't seen these before, your jaw will drop, I think. Because how could you see it coming? But yeah, all the good stuff in part 1 continues in part 2. The only thing that changes is the intense scares jump up like a gajillion. In part 1, they're kind of more hints and build-ups, and they just kind of, they go a different route with it, which works actually, because it makes the intensity in part 2 that much more awesome. But yeah, in terms of the overallness of the show, of the two-parter, score is good, acting's good, cinematography's awesome, atmosphere is great, special effects, I say, are very good, especially with the dummies. The dummies, when they walk and you see them walking around, you get chills because you're just like, this looks so weird, and it just looks, this is not something I want to be in that room with. It's very well done. But yeah, I don't know what else I can say about it other than, and the ending of this episode, when Arlstein gives his typical outro like the other ones, it's kind of a mind fuck in a way. It's very weird. Just watch it and you'll get it. But yeah, I don't know what else I can say about it. I mean, overall it's an excellent two-parter. Definitely up there with the other two-parters. I guess compared to the part 2, I guess because Night of the Living Dummy 2 was only a 20-minute episode. This one's a two-parter. A lot of people may ask which one I think is better. I kind of have to say this one. This one goes bigger, and this one goes harder. I mean, The Do was a very good 20-minute episode, don't get me wrong. But it definitely, they definitely had to cut some stuff out, and I'm glad at least in that one they cut, in Night of the Living Do, they cut shit out. In this one, even though they still cut some shit out, it feels more, I always think the two-parters are better than the single-parters, usually. And the single episodes that are good probably should have been two-parters, because they could have been better, even though they were good to begin with. But this one, I think, is better, but you should watch Night of the Living 2 too, just because not only is it good in its own right, but they are connected to a degree. But this one, Night of the Living, the two-part Night of the Living 3 is awesome. Overall, it's awesome. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos. And that's actually the finale of Season 2. And next will be Season 3 coming up tomorrow. And, oh man, Season 3, I'm not going to lie, things are, in my opinion, going to get a little bit rough. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos. Sorry I said that before, but yeah, and have a good day.